We were just walking past this really weird and cool machine, and then people started playing video games on it. And we were like, what is this amazing thing? It's Gavin?
Gavin Smith, yeah.
And tell us a bit about it. It looks amazing.
All right, so what you're seeing is, it's called the Voxon VX1. It's a volumetric display. It's 3D, but it's true, it's proper 3D. It's no smoke and mirrors, it's not Pepper's Ghost, it's not
no
glasses, no mist, no deception. It's the world's, currently the world's only commercially available true volumetric 3D display. So what we're doing is we're creating a volume of light by slicing up 3D geometry at 4,000 frames per second and projecting those slices back onto a very fast vibrating screen, which creates a physical object of something. So it's a bit like 3D printing with light. And,
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
I will definitely have to try and get some footage from it, but I don't think my camera can actually take it. So.
Yeah, most cameras can't video 4,000 frames per second, so it looks a bit flicker. It's a bit like when you see these old shows where they try and video record a CRT screen and they get a kind of flicker. So there's plenty of video on our website for you to check out later. You got to really see it in person to appreciate it. Yeah,
we'll borrow a little bit of footage.
Yeah, we'll send you some stuff. Yeah.
Where did the concept of this machine come from?
It came from something my friend Will and I used to do every Thursday night, which was a lab session, which I recommend you do, which is an excuse to hang out in your shed and take things apart and see how they work and repurpose them to learn new skills from engineering skills, electrical skills, optical skills, and programming. And so what we decided to do was try and build the sort of technology that we'd seen in the movies, but we couldn't buy in the shops. So we said, let's just try and make it ourselves because you can't buy it. So that was 10 years ago, and we're now shipping these units around the world to schools, universities, kind of games makers, medical people, anyone who's interested in the cutting edge of computer graphics.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
We were having a chat before. You said that the original prototype was made with just bits and pieces you found.
Yeah, like wombles, stuff lying around. Yeah, effectively make good use of the things that we find lying around at the edge of the street. We used to drive around Adelaide where they have hard rubbish days and pick up old sewing machines, washing machines, TVs, rear projection TVs, and take it apart and see what we can do with it. And our first prototypes were made out of literally scrap.
Do you have any photos of the first one? Because it'd be amazing to see what the first one is compared to
We've got a lot of photographs,
retail.
yeah. If you get in touch with us, I'll send you some. And you can
that would be amazing to see the original and then see what you can now buy.
Yeah, it's come a long way, yeah.
And you were saying before that some of your friends have started to make games on one of the games that just been shown today.
Yeah.
And that you've made your practically your own dev kit for the game.
Yeah, so we've got a number of ways of making content for the product. So I guess in terms of programming, you've got a low-level SDK, software development kit, which if you're a programmer in C or Visual Basic or Java or C#, you can download that and start coding like line at a time. Wow. There's a whole lot of example programs in there to get you started, including clones of some very popular-looking games, which may or may resemble Pac-Man and Tetris. They're not the same games, obviously. So you've got function calls like draw voxel, draw sphere, draw sprite. You can use STL files or OBJ files as sprite characters and animate them. The next level up is Unity support, which is obviously important because of the number of people using Unity now. In fact, walking around here today, I think everyone's using Unity. There's one Unreal developer I've seen so far. That's also something we're also working on, is Unreal integration as well. So Unity, if you're a Unity dev and you've got a game which kind of works inside a volume, such as traditional walk-around games like Gauntlet and those kind of arena-type games where the whole gameplay exists inside a volume, not a first-person shooter, because we don't display views of things, we display a model of something. So the gameplay context has to work within those bounds. So if you've got a game like that in Unity, you can bring in our our capture asset, and put a box inside your environment, and the Unity will suck out the graphics and send it to our DLL and render it in there.
Oh wow!
And one other engine we're working on is support for the Voxotron engine. Voxotron's a really cool game. You should check it out. It's a PC game. Written by Joseph White at Lexalawful Games. He's based in Tokyo. He's from New Zealand. He lives in Tokyo, and it's a voxel-based fantasy console type thing where you can design your own levels. There's hundreds of levels that have been built by the community, and it's got a brilliant physics engine built in and fully destructible. So Joseph's converting his graphics engine to run on the VX1, and then we can get access to all the assets that have already been created by other game devs.
So this could be like the next generation consoles.
It could be.
We're looking at it right now.
It could be. It'd be a long while before it's a consumer console, but we are looking at the arcade gaming market
that'd be perfect.
which is very, very big in Japan, China, South Korea. It's still a small market in Australia, which is why we're looking overseas for some of the big console-type gaming experiences.
And it sounds like you've made it really accessible to a lot of different programs, which is also an amazing feat in itself.
That's been the biggest challenge. There's a concept of crossing the chasm where you're trying to go from being a niche thing to something that's accessible to people, and so we're trying to build this kind of grassroots community of people, of developers. We've got a Slack channel. If you're interested, you can download the dev kit from our website and start programming it straight away without actually owning the hardware. We've got a simulator, so when you code games, you can see them in a 2D simulated view on the screen. And if you get a game running on the simulator, you can send it to us and we'll run it on the real hardware and send a video to you. So it's really accessible for people to program on.
So it sounds like you've definitely made your own community really
well
absolutely.
as well. Yeah. The community is the key thing for us. And that's why we're here today, just to get some feedback from the people using it.
And how has feedback been going today?
It's been very positive. We've always, as you can see, we've got a crowd here of 10 people playing it just now. One of the things we've done with this display is trying to make a physical 3D gaming display that's square, but the screen is actually square. And we've done that because we want the interaction to be kind of direction agnostic. Yeah. So a bit like board gaming, when you sit down to play a board game, you don't have like a good side and a bad side to set up. The board is usually square, and so by making the area square, we get 4 players gathered around it, and they've all got the same experience from an interaction point of view.
That is amazing. I really wish we could get footage right now, but we'll definitely have to get some.
We'll get some footage, yeah. We've got tons of video.
Practically mind-blowing.
Cool. Thank you very much.
That's so much fun just having a chat to and listen to of how your sort of design process of making it as well.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
We hope to definitely keep in contact.
Cool, thanks.
And expand the world knowledge of
check it out on voxon.co, voxon.co.
And hopefully if I do that, there should be a URL in my hand right now, what he just said. And thanks so much for having a chat to us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.